Welcome to W World Quiz. Ready to test your knowledge? From pop culture to history to science to literature, we've got it all lined up just for you. Think fast, have fun, and don't forget to subscribe. Ready? Let's go. What was the first permanent English colony in America, founded in 1607? Plymouth, Jamestown, Roanoke. Jamestown. Which British trading company played a key role in the colonization of India? Hudson's Bay Company, East India Company, Royal African Company. East India Company. Which year did India gain independence from the British Empire? 1947, 1950, 1960. 1947. Which war led to the British gaining control over Canada? American Revolutionary War, Crimean War, 7 Years' War. 7 Years' War. What was the main export of the British colonies in the Caribbean? Sugar, cotton, coffee. Sugar. Which event in 1773 symbolized American resistance to British taxation? Boston Tea Party, Battle of Saratoga, Lexington and Concord. Boston Tea Party. Which British monarch signed the Royal Charter granting the East India Company trading rights in India? Queen Anne, Queen Elizabeth I, King James I. Queen Elizabeth I. What was the British Empire's largest colony in terms of population? Australia, India, Canada. India. Which British possession was handed back to China in 1997? Macau, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Hong Kong. Which famous ship carried the Pilgrims to the New World in 1620? HMS Victory, the Mayflower, HMS Endeavour. The Mayflower. What war between Britain and China occurred over British trade in opium? Boxer Rebellion, Taiping Rebellion, First Opium War. First Opium War. Which British explorer is credited with claiming Australia for Britain? James Cook, Francis Drake, Henry Hudson. James Cook. Which British general famously surrendered to American forces at the Siege of Yorktown in 1781? Charles Cornwallis, John Burgoyne, Benedict Arnold. Charles Cornwallis. Which of the following territories did Britain gain after the Treaty of Paris in 1763? Philippines, Cuba, Canada. Canada. Which British explorer was the first to circumnavigate the globe? James Cook, Francis Drake, Walter Raleigh. Francis Drake. Which British colony was the focus of the Zulu Wars in the late 19th century? Egypt, South Africa, Rhodesia. South Africa. Which British king was ruling during the American Revolution? George III, George I, William IV. George III. Which British Prime Minister is known for his role in granting independence to India and Pakistan? Winston Churchill, Clement Attlee, Harold Macmillan. Clement Attlee. Which city became the largest and most important city in the British Empire during the 19th century? London, Calcutta, Cape Town. London. Which African country was never formally colonized by Britain? South Africa, Senegal, Ethiopia. Ethiopia. What event in 1857 marked a major uprising against British rule in India? Sepoy Mutiny, Amritsar Massacre, Bengal Famine. Sepoy Mutiny. Which conflict between the British and Afrikaner settlers resulted in the creation of concentration camps? First Boer War, Second Boer War, Zulu War. Second Boer War. What major project completed in 1869 shortened the sea route between Europe and Asia? Panama Canal, Trans-Siberian Railway, Suez Canal. Panama Canal. Which African territory did Britain and France nearly go to war over in the Fashoda Incident of 1898? Kenya, Nigeria, Sudan. Sudan. Which document established the self-governing dominions of the British Empire? Magna Carta, Statute of Westminster, Government of India Act. Statute of Westminster. Which British general was defeated at the Battle of Isandlwana during the Zulu War? Lord Chelmsford, Lord Kitchener, Lord Raglan. Lord Chelmsford. Which year did the British Empire abolish slavery? 1833, 1865, 1870. 1807. Which British territory was known as the jewel in the crown of the empire? Canada, India, South Africa. India. Which organization, established in 1931, continues to maintain ties between Britain and its former colonies? United Nations, Commonwealth of Nations, League of Nations. Commonwealth of Nations. When was the British Empire at its territorial peak? 1919, 1922, 1920. 1919. What was the name of Britain's first colony in the Caribbean? Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica. Jamaica. What was the main reason for British exploration in the 16th century? Scientific research, trade and wealth, religious freedom. Trade and wealth. What was the name of the British territory that later became the USA? Royal America, British New World, the 13 colonies. The 13 colonies. Who was the last Viceroy of India? Lord Mountbatten, Lord Curzon, Lord Dalhousie. Lord Mountbatten. Who was the founder of Singapore as a British colony? Robert Clive, Stamford Raffles, Cecil Rhodes. Stamford Raffles. What was the main language imposed in British colonies? French, Portuguese, English. English. Which country was the first to gain independence from Britain in Africa? Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria. Ghana. Which Middle Eastern country was a British protectorate until 1971? UAE, Iraq, Syria. UAE. What battle in 1757 established British rule in India? Battle of Waterloo, Battle of Hastings, Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey. What sport did the British spread to many of their colonies? Cricket, basketball, ice hockey. Cricket. What major event accelerated decolonization? World War I, the Cold War, World War II. World War II. Who was the Prime Minister during the Falklands War? Tony Blair, Margaret Thatcher, John Major. Margaret Thatcher. Which Caribbean island remained a British territory after 1962? Barbados, Trinidad, Bermuda. Bermuda. Which famous London museum contains artifacts from the Empire? British Museum, Victoria Museum, Natural History Museum. British Museum. Who was the first British monarch to visit India? Queen Victoria, King George V, King Edward VIII. King George V. What rebellion against British rule occurred in Kenya during the 1950s? Mau Mau Uprising, Zulu Revolt, Boer Rebellion. Mau Mau Uprising. What was the primary export from British India? Sugar, gold, cotton. Cotton. Which war was the British Mandate established in Palestine? World War I, Crimean War, World War II. World War I. Which British governor was responsible for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre? Lord Mountbatten, General Dyer, Lord Wavell. General Dyer. What is the name of the UK's overseas territory near Argentina? Gibraltar, St. Helena, Falkland. Falkland. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out our other videos and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.